but they always had a flight school. Flight school was very important. We had Cessna pilot centers, and when I started, that was the Cessna Pilot Center. And actually, in the 70s, the VA presence was really large too, the mid 70s, because of the guys transitioning home from Vietnam War, much like it is now. We split the flight departments, put some of them Dayton Wright Brothers, some of them Dayton International in the late 80s. Then we hit a lull. I mean, flight training didn't seem to be that much of a hot button for people. I imagine we could have marketed it better. In fact, we were just about ready to fold the department up when Sinclair sort of found us. And that's kind of a funny story. We had been bidding on the Sinclair flight department business for years. And they always found someone cheaper. And in the aviation business, cheaper is not necessarily the best.
Right.
And they ended up, they went through a lot of satellite airports, smaller fields, until they finally discovered us, I don't know, maybe it's been 10 years ago now. And it was almost like they just discovered us. I'll never forget talking to the president at the time. I don't recall his name. We had an open house down there in Wright Brothers. He goes, "Oh, you guys have been. This is great. We didn't." And I said, "We've been here. We've been on this airport since 1980, and we bid on your business, and we've always had this facility. But it comes down to dollars. And if you want to have a quality flight training program, then you got to pay for it. That's just the way it is."
Right.
And I think he understood. I mean, at that time.
Was that the current president or the previous?
No, that's previous. I can't remember. I can't remember who he was. They moved. He moved through. They moved through a couple presidents. Yeah. But so now flight training is huge. I mean, it's a big part of our business, and we would like to move part of the fleet up to Dayton International again, but it's the old chicken and the egg. The airplanes are so busy. To move one up here to try to reestablish the market is going to take away the availability for our students down there.
Would it mean acquiring a couple more airplanes?
Yeah, and there's that, and we've talked about it. We just want to get into spring and see where things are going. Yeah.
Is the relationship with Sinclair pretty good then?
It's excellent. It's excellent, and that's largely because our director of flight training, Donna Hanshoe, I mean, she is such a unique person, and she had worked for Sinclair. She's one of their professors, and so she's familiar with them. But I mean, just her enthusiasm and her professionalism is what really sets that whole department, above others in this area.
Did you have any interaction with Walt Davis? He was the director down there before.
A little. I mean, a little.
Set all that up.
There's another guy down there before him named Mark Treat, and that was in the late 80s. And I had some interaction with him, or late 70s, early 80s interaction with him. In fact, he had been one of my professors down there. But I look for flight training to continue to grow. We just added rotor wing. We just partnered with a company in Middletown, and under our certificate to offer rotor wing, which scares me because I'm not a big helicopter guy, but the VA and Sinclair, that's really hot button right now is helicopter pilots. And so that's just ramping up right now. So we continue to try to, meet the market. That's what we do.
Apparently, I talked to Clay Pittman is the director
of
aviation
yes.
down there.
Yep.
He said they're, I think, considering turning that into a 4-year program.
Yep, they are.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's
how
great.
That relates to the
I think it's great. I mean, let's go back to the baseline, and the baseline is this is the birthplace of aviation. I mean, there's times in this business that I wish the Wright brothers would have stayed in the bicycle business, I can tell you that. But at the end of the day, exactly. This is where it all started. And so, yeah, I feel strongly about that. And I feel strongly, and I know you do too, that we've always undersold our aviation heritage around here.
That's exactly.
And what better way to keep it going than teach people to fly?
That's right.
In the birthplace of aviation. So yeah, I mean,
So if they go to a 4-year program, would that include A&P training in your facilities? Is that possible?
It might. It just might.
Explain what A&P is, if you would.
That's one of Amy. Aircraft. Oh, I see.
I know.
aircraft and power plant. It's the mechanic's license
Right.
is what it is. They offer it now down there. They've got a program now down there, and we haven't really partnered much with them. It's kind of hard to use helpers sometime, you know. But until recently, now I've just hired 2 of their people from that program to work on the line. So,
Oh, great.
and that's another thing we got. You know, we try to staff some of our line help with the students from Sinclair. I mean, because we figure they have a vested interest in the business. They want to be in the business, that sort of thing.
If they instituted sort of an intern program, is that something where, you know, someone would be here dedicated
Yeah,
to
I've done that
get
before.
this degree,
Yep.
to get this certification?
The kids do that now, you
Okay,
know. Yeah,
okay.
they do that now. We'll sign off on their work experience. But you know, talk about changes on the airport. I mean, you know, you can talk about the airlines and airline service, how it's changed, in my view, not for the better since 1973. But the other thing is the corporate aviation on the airport. And you know, when I started, well, even when we had the charter department. Let's go to the 1990s. Yeah, on Dayton International, we had Meade, and they were a long-time Dayton company. Everybody knows that. Gone. NCR, Aviation Department, gone. Phillips Industries, Aviation Department, gone. Standard Register had an Aviation Department, gone. The Walthers had 2 airplanes down at Dayton Wright Brothers in their hangar, G1s, gone. And to me, that's about the biggest change on the airport. You know, when it comes to an FBO, their ability to support a corporate flight department in any way is part of their livelihood. Whether the airplanes are based with them and they provide fuel and office and maintenance and such. Even now, if they're not based with us, sometimes with some of the ones in Dayton, we're offering ground support, line service support, but there's a lot of empty hangar space, and because of it, hangar space rates in Dayton are kept low, and that's not a good thing for the FBO.
No.
Because we still got the ongoing of you know the fixed, and then of course your employees and that sort of thing. But you know the other thing we see that's changed a lot is when I started doing the dispatching for Bob McGuinn, we serviced all the Dayton General Motors parts plants, and with parts going outbound to the assembly divisions, and because they're just-in-time inventory systems. And now everyone knows that there are no General Motors presence in Dayton. All the plants are gone. All the parts divisions are gone. But now we do a fair amount of freight handling for parts coming in off the border, coming from Mexico, okay, coming into whether it's Bear across the street or Ford or Honda, you know, coming in. And one of the unique things for me is some of the airplanes that are being flown are the same airplanes that I saw operated under U.S. registry in the 1970s and early 80s. The very same airplanes. Now they're being the very same airplanes.
Wow.
Convair's, especially, that used to be Zantop International Airlines.
Yeah.
For years ran off Willow Run. And they had Convairs and Electras, and we'll see those old Convairs coming up here from Mexico with Mexican crews. I mean, they look beat to hell, but you know,
They're still flying.
yeah, they're still flying.
And so they come back.
Yeah, they come back. It is. It's
circle.
just sometimes just the damnedest thing, you know.
So that's part of the whole NAFTA
Yeah.
trade deal that is such a controversial issue these days.
Yep.
So instead of the parts going out, they're coming in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
With Mexican crews, and and they're great. I mean, it's great dynamic. You know, it's just we've seen the freight airplanes. You know, it used to be 310s, 402s, Twin Beaches would carry the bulk of the freight, and every once in a while you'd see a C-46 or DC-3 or DC-4, a Convair Electra, and now it's all Merlins, a lot of Merlins, some Falcon 20s. The old turboprops now coming up off the border. It's fast, heavy lift is what it is. You know, now it seems to be.
And these are still auto parts, basically.
And one other thing we're kind of a base for, because of our location, we do, when the weather gets bad on the roads, we do a lot of intercepts because we're right at the intersection of I-70 and I-75, the old Crossroads of America deal. And because of that, they can divert a truck. If there's an interstate closed down between here and the assembly plant, there's a truck on the way from Michigan, they'll divert a truck here to meet an airplane, and we will take off enough parts to keep the assembly line running until they figure the truck is going to get there.
Wow, that's
So
pretty
it is, but it's all pop-up stuff. I mean, you got to be ready to go.
You gotta be ready.
Normally you'll get a call 2 hours ahead of time, maybe, that at any time, 24/7, you got to be ready. And we've made a real nice reputation on this. I mean, we really have. I got a great bunch of guys that like to meet that, and that is a challenge. I mean,
Are those ASI owned aircraft, or you're just making the arrangement?
No, all we do is provide the ground handling. We just do we just do the loading. We'll get a call from the freight forwarder or the broker saying we've got this intercept going on. Truck's going to be here then. The airplane's going to be here then, and you guys do the ground handling.
Oh, so you're making it happen on the
Yep,
ground.
Exactly.
And ground service is a big deal.
Well, if you don't have it, it doesn't happen.
Right.
And I had Active Aero, who's a big operator out of Yip, came to see us last week, and we're in like the top 5 of their ground handling places in the world, and because of our response. One of the other unique things about me, when you go back to my involvement in the company, is I had only been here, it was about 1974. I think I might have come back from, yes, I'd come back from working for Summit. And Bob and Gwen, they were ramping up this freight business because Skyways had gone out of business. We got the Twin Beaches, and they needed somebody to deliver the freight at night. So they asked all the line guys, they started asking the line, can we put a drop line in your home? No. I said, sure. I was living with Mom and Dad on the east side of Vandalia. And so they put this drop line, this old ring phone in my phone, and then what would happen was when the airplanes landed or when the pilots left their destination, they'd call with an ETA, then I'd come up and I'd meet the airplane. We had a pickup truck because most of our loads then that we were carrying were Twin Beach loads, which are about 2,500 pounds max. We had a big old pickup truck, and then I delivered the freight to the plant in Dayton. Now, what was funny is, and you had asked me about growing up in Vandalia, I mean, I've lived here since 1966. Before that, we lived in Dayton View.
Let's reset this.